I'm going to address this question by telling a story. A couple of years ago, I travelled overseas in my previous job, helping the organisation with a particularly important application. During my time there, I gave a demonstration of cloud. So this is the value proposition of how we quickly spin up services and provision resources. And when I finished doing that, one of the girls on the team, who was quite intrigued by what she saw, asked me this question: is the cloud secure? And I said, I don't really think that's the right question to ask, but let's try something first, and then we'll come back to this question and see if it still makes sense. So here's what I did. I put on my attacker hat. And I said, let's do this. Let's go and have a look around the network. And what I did is I took the test version of the application that I was there to support this organization with. Knowing the address of the test web application, it was easy to locate the test web server. And once I knew the name of that, I discovered that there was an open file share into the root of the web server. Now, what I mean by open is that anyone could access it, so no access controls. If you could plug into the network, you could access the files in the root of the website. I had a look around and I found the configuration file, the web.config of the ASP.NET web application. Within that configuration file was a connection string using the server admin account. So this is the account which has the maximum possible rights on the database server. But this only got me over to the test database server. However, once connected to the test database server, I had full control over that machine. And that's when I discovered the linked server through to the production database server. This entire episode took place over about 5 minutes. So that's 5 minutes from knowing the web address of an application, a very popular, very critical application within the organization, all the way through to having full control, both read and write, to their production database server of this most critical piece of software. So I finished this demonstration and I said to the girl that had asked the question, you're asking if the cloud is secure, but what you should be asking is how would security be different in the cloud, as opposed to what you see just here. Much of what you see here simply wouldn't be possible in a well-configured cloud environment. For example, if we had have stood this up in Azure's platform as a service model, the root of the website would not be accessible via a file share. There is no server-level administration account on the SQL Azure database, so you can't get access to any context outside of the database it's actually connecting to. And in fact, in that particular PaaS model of SQL, there is no such thing as a linked server. And whilst, yes, it would have been possible to configure the cloud in a very insecure fashion, and we'll talk about that as we go through the course as well, so many of the defaults of a good modern cloud implementation would have made it much, much harder to mess up the security as badly as they had in this case. The question is not, is the cloud secure? The right question is not whether or not the cloud is secure. The question should be, how is security different in the cloud? Because there may be aspects that are more secure about hosting the application internally, and there will almost certainly be aspects that are more secure about hosting the application in the cloud. But by now, you've seen enough to know that the cloud is not one thing, it is very nuanced. And hopefully this little example here shows you that this question, this very, very black and white Boolean question about whether or not the cloud is secure, is the wrong question to ask. Let's go and wrap up this module, and then we'll move on and start actually looking at aspects of the cloud that are both less and more secure than that traditional on-premise hosting model.